it a certain way and you do it your way and it mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your cup, not mine.
Like, every time I'm punching, Floyd like grab my hand, like yank it back, whereas though I can't even punch.
All his jokes prior to his fight against Lamont Roach. After the fight, look how many were waiting.
In a surprising turn, Floyd Mayweather publicly called out Gervonta Davis during a live interview, strongly advising him to walk away from the anticipated rematch with Lamont Roach. This statement reignited tensions between the two, especially as Davis opened up about past experiences that still seem to linger. Davis revealed that during his sparring sessions with Devin Haney, who was training at Mayweather's gym at the time, Mayweather would frequently step in and abruptly halt the action, particularly whenever Davis appeared to be on the verge of landing significant, fight-changing punches. To Davis, these constant interruptions didn't feel coincidental. He viewed Mayweather's actions as clear favoritism towards Haney, leaving him to question whether Mayweather was ever fully in his corner. These moments left Davis feeling increasingly isolated and undermined during pivotal stages of his development, planting the seeds for their ongoing rift.
Adrian had the weigh-in, so from his weigh-in, they meet us at the food spot. So from there, we go to the gym. So remind you, they already got this set up. Floyd already got it set up. He already posted on Instagram. It probably was like 100 people in there, and he turned the heat up. That's what Floyd do. He turned the heat up in the gym while you're in there. So he turned the heat up. Boom. We spar, but while we sparring, Floyd is in the ring. Like every time I'm punching, Floyd like grab my hand, like yank it back, whereas though I can't even punch Devin. So it was times that like I catch Devin, boom, or I'm about to swing and Floyd like yank my hand back, or he'll push me to the ropes. Like he was actually like touching me while we were sparring. Like
why?
Like, he was, cause it was like Devin was his guy, cause Devin was training at his gym at the time. So, and he was training with his father. So, Devin was on. I mean, Floyd was on Devin's side.
Sounds
so
like
that's
a conspiracy to me.
Yeah, but later down the line, probably about like a couple months. No, this was recently. Not recently, but probably like 2 years ago. I asked Devin to like come to like spar me. And he was like, "No, I ain't no sparring partner." I had somebody hit him up that was close to him.
Teofimo Lopez added his voice to the conversation, offering a candid take on what unfolded after the Davis vs. Roach fight. According to Lopez, the fallout from the bout left Davis standing alone, distanced from many within the boxing world who had once supported him. Lopez emphasized that the controversial nature of the fight's conclusion made Davis vulnerable to waves of public criticism, with some quickly shifting their perspective and questioning his legitimacy as a top-tier fighter. In Lopez's view, the aftermath isolated Davis, setting the stage for a flood of doubters eager to diminish his reputation.
A lot of people, look what they did with Gervonta too. I want everybody, all these young fighters that are listening to this, and you could clip this. It's a short part right here.
I got you.
To Ryan could clip this right here. To all you young fighters, look at the amount of love they were giving and sharing to Gervonta Tank Davis prior to the fight. Look at what all the reporters were doing prior to the fight. Look how they were all laughing at all his jokes prior to his fight against Lamont Roach. After the fight, look how many were waiting to down this man. Down him. See, I'm gonna talk my smack with Tank, but that's because I want to fight him. That's me. I can say that. But I just want all you young fighters to really look about it. They don't care about us.
Yeah.
They won't ever care about us. When you winning, they're gonna be there, but they waiting for any moment to slip up. Just a man, even a draw. Look how much hate he got out of it.
Yeah, not to get deep, but you know, it's a part of our psychology. We have to learn how to care about other people.
Former welterweight world champion Shawn Porter stepped forward with high praise for Gervonta Davis, focusing on his undeniable talent and raw ability inside the ropes. Porter highlighted Davis's impressive versatility, ring IQ, and knockout power, calling him one of the most dangerous fighters in the lightweight division. Despite the growing criticisms surrounding Davis, Porter made it clear that Davis remains an elite competitor, capable of dominating opponents when fully focused and mentally locked in.
And the thing that I really appreciate about Tank is he's a dog. That kind of that what he just said. You can put them earmuffs up and go at it. He kind of will assess you as well, and whatever he needs to do, he'll do it. You know, so.
The initial clash between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach ended in controversy that has continued to fuel heated debates. Referee Steve Willis found himself under fire for his officiating, particularly for failing to award critical points to Roach during key exchanges that could have swayed the fight's outcome. In response to the scrutiny, Davis didn't shy away from the conversation. Instead, he directly addressed the criticism, boldly challenging his detractors to settle their doubts in the ring. Davis expressed complete confidence in his ability to deliver a decisive performance in a rematch, determined to put the controversy to rest on his own terms.
I don't know what the just happened. You're a referee, y'all big as you should have seen what the going on. Why I would have, if I'm in the corner, I'm erratic in between rounds. What was your feeling in between rounds when you seen that?
It was going off. My assistant coach, Ben Johnson, he was going off on him. Hey Steve, the fuck wrong with you? He was cursing him out and everything. He was like, that was a fucking damn.
Yeah,
he just stood off and waved us off, and he was like,
yeah, cause for me, one person would have been having to deal with Lamont, and the other nigga been the whole 60
that's how it was.
seconds.
I was dealing with him, and my man Ben was dealing with the rough.
Right.
We got his attention along with the low blows as well. I was like, how many low blows you gonna let us hit us with?
Right.
Take a point. And then he finally warned him like in the 11th round.
That's crazy. Is there anybody in boxing media or media in general, because nobody picked you guys to win at all. Nobody. I mean, I seen you guys go on promotional tours from whether it was boxing podcast to the Breakfast Club. Nobody picked you guys to win. Like, when you get a second, you grab me a water. Sorry. And is there anybody that you got, I know because it's more than one person, but is there anybody, thank you, that you took personal out of all the interviews that you did? Is it one or two people or three people that you be like, this right here, everybody else, but I want to prove this one person wrong?
It's not necessarily that I wanted to prove them wrong, so I wanted everybody to shut the for real.
Yeah.
Like, but I already said it. Two-Tone, the big bald that got the beard that talked to everybody. Two-Tone, the Showbiz, he already apologized to. Both of them apologized though.
Right.
But they was dead wrong. They was dead. And I don't know if y'all know him or y'all familiar with him, but this one Southpaw TV, he be in my DMs.
Lamont Roach has not held back his frustration with the way their first fight was handled, especially when it comes to referee Steve Willis's decisions. Roach has gone on record stating that Willis's officiating played a significant role in the unresolved tension surrounding their bout. Roach is adamant that if a rematch does happen, Steve Willis should not be allowed to officiate, pointing to concerns over bias and the previous bout's unresolved officiating controversies as reasons to demand a different referee.
You know, obviously the part with the grease in the eye, that took on a life of its own, you know what I'm saying? That was a headline in the fight. One is, what did you think when he said that initially, just like the grease in the eye? But two is like, when you was in the fight, was there any point that you saw that? Like, did you see like him kind of messing with his eye, or did you have any indication that that was something that was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right hand that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed, he kind of rolled with it. But after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye. So it's like, it was corresponding to which hand that I punched him with and exactly which eye. So it's like crazy for him to say, it's grease in my eye. And I think even when he say that, you could see me, because I'm right beside him, you could see me like, nigga, what you talking about? So,
right.
But you say you don't think he willing though.
Whatever. See, but who cares? Like, sweat gonna get in your eye, blood gonna get in your eye.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Spit fucking around and get in your eye. You know what I'm saying? But you, it's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on,
Take no
ref.
time out.
You can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis doing the next fight?
Hell no.
He can't do the next fight.
No, he can't do the next fight.
Right.
No.
Pops, it's a no?
Hell no. Yeah.
You know how many
put Coach Ben on him, man. He lucky he ain't running Coach Ben after that fight.
But look how many times he fight up though. Right. The knee, him going to the corner to get assistance, like, who knows? Not saying that they did any cheating, nothing like that. But like, he wiped his face with a towel. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do none of that. That's a disqualification. You turned your back on the ref after you took a knee. Usually the ref will be like, all right, he don't want to fight no more. Fight.
Tensions between Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather continued to unravel as Davis accused Mayweather of being overly self-absorbed and unable to genuinely celebrate the success of other fighters. According to Davis, Mayweather's consistent resistance to the proposed rematch with Lamont Roach is not about protecting Davis, it's about Mayweather's jealousy and his constant need to maintain control over the spotlight. Davis believes Mayweather struggles with letting anyone else shine, especially when it could mean taking attention away from his own legacy.
Well, Floyd don't never want to see no one like a fighter do better than them. How the say Terrence Crawford should fight? Benavidez. That don't make no sense. He don't never want to see nobody be better than him. I'm telling you.
Who's next in line? This one, next in line.
Is there like
The last question, guys.
is there like a love-hate for like
Yeah.
the fighter?
Yeah, I love the fighter. Like, I ain't gonna lie, if he was like chill, like he'll be the smoothest. But he's not. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter. And my bad. And
you're good, man.
And he cause I don't want to say like he's just a scumbag, but it's like he's a great fighter, and sometimes he can be good, but it's like it's always I'm this.
Jake Paul, the social media sensation turned professional boxer, chimed in with a scathing critique of Davis's performance against Roach. Paul, never one to hold back, expressed disappointment, openly suggesting that Davis was lucky to escape the fight with a draw. In Paul's eyes, Roach had clearly outboxed Davis and did enough to deserve the win. His comments directly challenged the public narrative of Davis's dominance, hinting that the superstar label surrounding Davis might not be as solid as many believe.
Man, he got lucky at the draw. He did a good fight though. I thought he won it, but man, you gotta just create more action. That's a sparring session as far as I'm concerned. But god damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
The split between Gervonta Davis and Mayweather Promotions was anything but quiet. Their professional breakup was marred by high-profile disputes, management disagreements, and public shots taken on both sides. For years, Davis had been viewed as the crown jewel of Mayweather's promotional stable, but behind the scenes, things were falling apart. The conflict reached a boiling point with public accusations and repeated disagreements over career direction, ultimately leading to one of the most talked-about splits in modern boxing. The fallout highlighted just how complicated and fractured their once powerful alliance had become.
So I don't want Tank to necessarily leave Mayweather. I think he's in this position because of everything that Mayweather and Leonard Ellerbe have done for him. So I do want him to do what he is saying. Take control of your career. Say that you want Shakur and actually fight Shakur. Say that you want Devin and actually fight Devin. You know, fight these guys. Don't keep making new names. Like, you gave Barrios a chance. You gave Isaac a chance. Like, you know, Gamboa. Like, those aren't the fights that...
The boxing world is buzzing with excitement over the possibility of a highly anticipated rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach, tentatively slated for June 21st in Las Vegas. Both fighters see this upcoming bout as their chance to finally settle the lingering controversy from their previous encounter, which ended under heated circumstances. For Davis and Roach, this fight represents more than just another payday. It's a pivotal moment to restore their reputations, erase any doubts, and solidify their respective positions among boxing's top contenders.
The Tank Davis vs. Lamont Roach rematch is being targeted for June 21st in Las Vegas. Now, it's good that they're running it back without wasting any time, because Roach absolutely deserves a rematch. I mean, I thought he outboxed Tank the last time around. He came up a division as a gigantic 10-1 underdog. And he was the one on the front foot, landing his jab, the body shots, the combinations, throwing a lot more volume. I had it 7-5 Roach, and the no knockdown in round 9 was the reason it was a draw. If that knockdown was scored, that would have been a decision for Roach. But with all that being said, I do like Tank a lot more in the rematch. I thought he fought way too much on the back foot in the first fight, especially the first few rounds. He would land 1 or 2 punches per round. But as he started becoming the aggressor in the later rounds, he kept landing a lot more left hands and body shots. So Tank just needs to make this a dogfight, get into more exchanges, and that's where he'll land a lot more punches on Roach. When he's sitting on the back foot waiting for a counter, that's where Roach is comfortable and winning most of the rounds. So if Tank can fight the same way he did against Ryan Garcia, rounds 3 to 7, against Mario Barrios in the later rounds, or Frank Martin rounds 4 to 8, if he's the one on the front foot, then I do think he'll stop Roach in the rematch.
The upcoming rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach is shaping up to be a career-defining showdown. Roach proved to be one of the rare fighters capable of pushing Davis to his absolute limits during their first meeting, forcing Davis into uncomfortable situations and exposing potential cracks in his armor. Many in the boxing community now believe that Roach's performance revealed vulnerabilities that Davis can no longer afford to ignore. For Davis, this rematch is a critical opportunity to silence critics and prove that he still reigns supreme. For Roach, it's a chance to climb into the upper echelon of elite fighters and cement his legacy with a definitive victory. The stakes couldn't be higher. This fight will finally settle the debate over who truly deserves the crown.
Got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? That is it. Lamont, please say that in the second fight. Any questions? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, you got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, hey, bruh, be on that. Because here's the thing. He never hurt Roach. Roach just waited. And Roach was squared up and turned sideways. And I'm like, oh my God. I didn't think he had that. He was like, I'm like, oh my. And then he just sitting there like, you can't. I know what you're going to do because I've trained with you since we were kids. Tarver beat Roy, but he knew Roy since amateurs. Roy said he never liked fighting sparring partners because they know you so well. I should have listened.
Gervonta Davis is pressing hard to secure the rematch with Roach as quickly as possible. Fully aware that the contentious draw in their first fight has cast a shadow over his reputation, Davis views this rematch as essential to re-establishing his dominance and silencing the wave of skepticism that followed. For Davis, this isn't just about redemption, it's about reclaiming his rightful place at the top and eliminating any lingering questions about his abilities.
We gotta talk about it. So, Tank officially came out and says that he wants to put this rematch as early as May. Now, if that were to happen, Lamont Roach gets a second time to prove himself. Now, in my personal opinion, his stock has already risen. He is already known. The fact that he went toe-to-toe with Tank on the decision that ended in a draw, whether he loses this second fight or not, won't even matter. Because he's directly in line to go against the Keyshawn Davis, the Shakur Stevens, and etc., the Devin Haney's, and etc. I can see him moving up and going against Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia or somebody like that. So many people to fight. Lamont Roach has definitely proven himself. But let's talk about something else, and that is the hairstylist situation. My humble opinion, I believe she should have been quiet. As a hairstylist, there was nothing for you to say. No fan in boxing is going to look at that like, I don't want to break my hair. No one would say that. But she hurt herself, and she came out and publicly made multiple claims. All his receipts that no one needed, no one asked for, saying, oh, this had no grease or oil in it. No one cares. Nobody even believes it. Sometimes it's best to remain quiet. But you guys let me know in the comments, should she have remained quiet or should she have did what she did, but she spoke up? You let me know.
Floyd Mayweather has recently expressed a sense of regret regarding his earlier advice to Davis about avoiding the rematch. Mayweather acknowledged that, while his guidance came from a place of experience, he now understands that Davis needs to chart his own path and make career decisions that align with his personal ambitions. Davis, on his part, has shed new light on his complicated relationship with his former mentor. He hinted that Mayweather had a tendency to orchestrate situations that favored his own interests, often managing fighters in ways that ultimately served Mayweather's brand. This revelation adds a deeper layer to their already fractured dynamic and explains part of the distance that has grown between them.
Floyd outdoing him. He always been like that. You know what I mean? So I gotta f on what I'm. He already did what he had to do, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Me, if I did what I like what he did in the sport, I ain't gonna lie, I'd be the same way. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't follow him for like stand to himself and things like that. You know what I mean? But it's also a part of me type thing. Like come back and help too. You know what I mean? So there's much love to the whole Mayweather promotion. You know what I mean? Ain't no bad blood type. And a lot of people think like when I be tweeting on Instagram, I be mad. I just be talking.
Speculation has begun to swirl within boxing circles that Floyd Mayweather's persistent reluctance to back Davis's rematch with Roach may not be purely strategic. Some insiders suspect that Mayweather's unwillingness to fully support Davis stems from jealousy, a belief that he still craves the spotlight and struggles to allow other fighters to shine without feeling overshadowed. These whispers suggest that Mayweather's desire to maintain his status as boxing's central figure may be subtly influencing his stance.
Talk this Tank Davis fight, and I want to talk 50 and Mayweather. 50 said that Tank better get away from old boy because Mayweather got a jealous heart and Mayweather only wants himself to win. I found that, you know, I think that was 50's IG, I think. You know what I'm saying? I think that was one of his posts. IG, Twitter, I don't know which one.
Both Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach understand that their rematch carries weight far beyond just another win or loss on their records. This is their mutual opportunity to close the chapter on unresolved debates and lingering doubts. Avoiding this rematch would leave critical questions unanswered and might leave lasting blemishes on their legacies. For both fighters, stepping into the ring again is not just about pride, it's about proving to the world, and to themselves, who truly deserves to stand on top.
I expected to see a knockout. I expected to see it come at the hands of Gervonta Tank Davis against a dude that I thought was undersized, that I thought was not on the same level. And my God, was I wrong. So I thought it was apropos that on this particular day, more than a week after Lamont Roach showed up at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York and let everybody know, yo, I'm no joke either. Y'all don't know who the hell I am. I'm here to reintroduce him to the world. A guy that many believe should be the lightweight champion of the world in the sport of boxing. The one and only Lamont Roach joins me.
Canelo Alvarez recently addressed one of the most hotly debated moments from the Davis-Roach fight, Davis taking a knee mid-fight. Alvarez explained that, under certain circumstances, a fighter who voluntarily takes a knee can, in fact, be disqualified depending on the referee's interpretation and the situation at hand. Canelo's comments reignited fiery debates among boxing fans and analysts, with many now questioning whether Davis benefited from favorable treatment during that critical moment. The discussion has added another layer of controversy to the already intense rivalry.
Gervonta Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, it was a draw. He take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business.
Davis's trainer stepped forward to give credit where it was due, openly acknowledging that Lamont Roach brought an exceptional level of skill and heart to their first matchup. However, despite Roach's strong performance, Davis's team remains confident in their overall game plan. The trainer emphasized that only minor tactical adjustments would be needed to ensure that, if a rematch takes place, Davis would leave no room for doubt and would deliver a decisive victory. The boxing world now anxiously awaits the official announcement, eager to see whether this rematch will materialize.
What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, that they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity, you know?
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates and exclusive coverage as this story continues to unfold.